I have decided to play Onomats in Stage 2 in the World Championships in Duel Links. And that is because I have 3 copies of Onomatopoeia. And actually I have 4 copies. And this card is only obtainable in the selection box, and I have dug into the selection box for probably way too much money. And it's kind of a side product of getting 4 copies of Ice Dragon Prison and 3 copies of Minecon. So I guess we could play Onomats now. And also we recently got Onomato Pickup, which is a searcher for our best searcher, which searches our searcher that searches the Reborn spell. So yeah, the deck has a lot of searching going on, and it's pretty good actually. I think the main reason why it's not played as much as the other decks is because not a lot of people actually have 3 copies of this card, let alone having 4 like me. But yeah, having this broken spell allows us to not play a lot of monsters. We're only playing 6, and one of them is just a brick for Beatrice to actually have a target to banish our opponent's monsters. But yeah, we're only playing a minimal amount of all of the other actual Onomat monsters because they're all searchable with search spells. And you might notice that we're playing a pretty interesting skill. We're playing Draw Sands Monster Reborn, and this skill allows us to draw a Monster Reborn when our life points are at 2500 or below. And also if our opponent has a monster with 3000 or more attack, we can use it at any draw phase we want. And the reason why we're playing this skill is actually for 2 reasons. The first is because a single Monster Reborn can act as a really good follow-up and just make your combo work with only a single card. What you can do is revive your Gagaga Code, and Code will revive the Onomatopoeia, and then Graveyard Effect of Google Glove can revive itself, and now you have 3 level 4 monsters, which you can make any level 4 every rank 4s. Like you can make a Malevolent Sin, you can make a Utopia and rank it on a Utopia the Lightning, and that's a pretty good OTK. And the second reason is our character. We are using Yusei, and this is actually pretty significant because typically if your opponent sees you playing Yusei, they assume that you're playing Synchrons, which plays a lot of Synchro monsters, and because a lot of decks actually make Xyz monsters, there are a lot of Raging Pendulum players running around with rank 4 monsters. Most of the time, they will be playing Roach against our character because Steel Sword Roach is really good against Synchro monsters. When you try to summon a Synchro monster while Roach is on the field, you can activate its effect to negate the summon and destroy that card. And it also prevents your opponent from even activating the on-summon effects or the on-field effects of the Synchro monsters. So even if you make something like a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which theoretically could negate monster effects, you can't use it to negate the Roach because the Roach prevents it from successfully special summoning. Anyway, that is what we want our opponent to do because we are actually not playing Synchro monsters, we're playing Xyz monsters. So it's a pretty fun little trick that you can use, and it actually works. And this is the extra deck that we're playing. We have a 2-card combo that ends on 3 Xyz monsters. We can end on 1 Beatrice, 1 Abyss Dweller, plus another rank 4. We can make a Giant Hand against other generic decks, or if our opponent has a skill that gives them Pendulum Scales, we could make a Roach, because Roach is really good against Pendulum decks. And also if our opponent is playing Speedroids, Roach is also a pretty good option because we could, just as I said before, we can negate the Synchro summons of their Crystal Wing and Clear Wings. So there is that. We're also playing a single Synchro monster in our Virgil. That is there just because we have a target for the Graveyard Effect of Beatrice when it is destroyed by your opponent's card. You could special summon a Burning Abyss monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning condition. So this is just a monster that you could summon with that card. So even though even if your opponent activates something like a black hole that destroys all your monsters, if your opponent has a raging dragon that pops all your cards, you can still at least have a monster on the field to block your opponent's attacks and also get a free draw when it is destroyed and sent to the graveyard. So yeah, we're also playing Book of Moon and Forbidden Chalice to get rid of our opponent's monsters or back row. And these two cards are pretty good going first or second, so I really like playing them. And yeah, that's it for the deck. Oh, we're going first. We could combo. And our opponent is playing Bandit Keith, so I'm gonna assume that he is playing Orcust. So we're gonna end on Dweller. Okay, what do we discard? Okay, let's discard the code because we need that in our way. We need the Onomatopoeia to be in our hand for our combo to actually work. Okay, so in case you don't know what the Onomat combo does, I'll show you real quick. So what we need is a Gaga Sister plus a code plus a Onomatopoeia. And you can easily get them all in your hand by your broken search spells. So what you're going to do is Noble Summon Sister, grab the Revenge, summon the code, use the effect of Sister, target your other monster, make them all level 6, and then you can make your Beatrice. And Beatrice is really good in this deck because it serves two functions. It is both an extended that allows you to mill your glove to your graveyard, which we'll do right now. And during our opponent's turn, it can also disrupt our opponents by sending the Farfar to your graveyard and banishing one of our opponent's monsters. So we're going to use it right now. You're going to use the Revenge to revive back the code will revive back the glove, and the reason why we didn't discard the Onomatopoeia is because we can now special summon it with the glove from my hand. So now we could Xyz summon our Dweller. It's important to make an Xyz that can detach during your own turn. So we kind of can't make Roach first because Roach can't detach, but Abyss Dweller can. And the reason why we want to detach is because we want to detach the glove and immediately use the effect of the glove that we detached. And we can revive it from the graveyard, and now we can make the third Xyz monster. And since our opponent is Bandit Keith, we're gonna make a Giant Hand. If our opponent has Scales, we will make Roach, because Roach is good against Pendulums. Now we're gonna make Giant Hand. We're gonna set a lands and end turn. So we have one monster banish. We have a Dweller to prevent the graveyard effects, a Giant Hand as a monster negate, and a Lance to protect any of our monsters if our opponent tries to activate a Book of Moon, like right now. Actually, do I let this pass? I'll use Lance, why not? Yeah, okay. And this is the reason why we were playing Lance. Yeah, our opponent scoops immediately. The good thing about Dweller is that even Book of Moon can't prevent it because he can just chain it. So it's really good against Orcust. You know what? I haven't been playing against Six Samurai for a very long time. But we do have a Book of Moon, so we're doing pretty good. And we have a Gaga code plus a pickup. So the pickup could grab the Ultra spell, can grab the Para, and the Para could grab Onomatopoeia plus a Gaga Sister. And if you have a Gaga Sister plus a Gaga code plus an Onomatopoeia in your hand, if you have all three of them in your hand, that's 3 Xyz monsters. It's Beatrice plus 2 rank 4s. So that's pretty good. So as long as that's not something that we have to worry about, we're gonna be fine. So let's attempt to Book of Moon his Xian, which he will probably negate. That's expected. And now we can safely activate our pickup. And since we actually have a glove in our hand, we could discard this, and it's gonna be pretty good. Because usually you will mill this with your Beatrice, but because we have it in our hand, we could just use it as the discard cost for a very broken Search 2 spell. If he has a Cosmic or a MST, it's gonna be a slight problem, but we could still combo off. But he does have a Enshi, an Enishi, and the Enishi will be able to bounce back one of our monsters, so we have to kind of be careful with that. Okay, now we grabbed a spell which we can immediately use. Yeah, let's use this. And we could pitch the Gaga Glove. The Go-Go Glove. I keep messing up these names. Anyway, we're gonna grab the remaining 2 monsters that we don't have in our hand or graveyard. And it's time to combo. Okay, if he bounces my monster right now, it will be a big problem if we don't have Reborn in our hand. But since we do, it's not really an issue because we already have the glove in our graveyard, so that could actually extend our combos and allow us to continue doing our plays. Because the glove is actually not a Gaga monster, so even if we have the equip spell, Revenge only revives a Gaga monster, and yeah, Gaga Glove is not a Gaga monster. So if we didn't have Monster Reborn, we could not do anything, but we do have Monster Reborn, so we're still in the game. We're still not losing yet. As long as the set card doesn't really do anything, we're gonna be okay. Good. It's probably a dual wield if I'm gonna guess. Okay. Okay, if that's a dual wield, we have to play it pretty carefully. We can't use Sin to banish one of his monsters, otherwise he will just be able to activate dual wield and mess everything up. So we have to play this pretty carefully, I believe. Okay. Let's I think we could make Dweller just because it can detach one. We could detach one of the stuff we have there. Or we can just make, yeah, we make Roach, but or we can make the Spider, but not activate its effect immediately. And that might also work. And then what we do is just activate Onomatopoeia and summon the sister. And then I guess we were gonna make Beatrice. Okay, I think we have to eat his dual wield. There really isn't a way to avoid it, but we could theoretically prolong his activation by at least having the stuff in our graveyard first. Okay, now what do we actually banish? Do we banish the Xian? I think we banish the Xian, right? Get out of here. Oh, he actually doesn't have an activation. Does he? Does he not have an activation? He does, okay. Yeah, there's dual wield. We've been expecting that. Okay, now this Revenge is going to do a lot of work for us. We'll revive the coat. And as far as I remember, we haven't used its effect yet. So we can use that to revive the Onomatopoeia. And then we can revive the glove. And we win. We make Utopia. Yeah, we win. It is so busted. There we go, that's lethal. Let's go. Yes, we're going first. Okay, good. Okay, our opponent has scales this time, so we're gonna not end on Giant Hand, we're gonna end on Roach. But the combo will be exactly the same until the very end. So again, we're gonna use the Para. Ideally, you don't want to discard your coat, but that's the only option we have because we need the Onomatopoeia in our hand, and also we need the lands to protect our monsters, otherwise a single Book of Moon will be able to stop one of our Xyz monsters, which we kinda don't want. Let's turn off our toggle so the lands won't give us a whole bunch of delay while we're doing our combo. Let's grab our Equip spell and do the entire combo. It's pretty streamlined if you actually remember the combo. It's not that complicated if you actually remember all the steps, because you're just doing the same combo over and over again. You could actually theoretically engineer alternative combos that end on different Xyz monsters, but this is probably the most competitive one. It ends on the best Xyz monsters with the least amount of resources and bricks in your deck. So like theoretically you could end on a Dark Rebellion, which has 2 monster negates, but that requires you to play a Silent Boots, I mean a Shade Cloak, I think, plus rank up magic in your deck, and that is 2 bricks. And ideally, you don't want to play too many bricks in your deck, even if that gives you a better end board. And also, if you're playing Dark Rebellion, it requires you to actually use the overlay removal skill to detach the materials from a Dark Rebellion, because the rank up spell only works if your Dark Rebellion has no Xyz materials. So it is not very ideal in situations like these. And also, if you're not locked into certain characters, you could use these misleading characters like Yusei. So your opponent is tempted to make Roach if they go first, and Roach is very good against Synchro monsters, which they might assume that we are playing, but they do nothing against our Xyz monsters. So that is another thing that we can use to trick our opponent. And we'll quickly turn the toggle back on so we don't miss the activation timings. Okay, he's playing Orcust, which is pretty good because we have Dweller to prevent the Graveyard effects, and we have Roach to prevent their Pendulum summons. So this board is literally perfect against exactly this deck. He's gonna grab the Timebreaker Magician, which could theoretically get rid of one of our Xyz monsters, but thankfully we have a Beatrice to get rid of that. Because if we didn't have Beatrice, he would be able to get rid of our Roach and just basically Pendulum summon their monsters without any thing stopping them. So they're going to do this, which is fine. It's totally fine if they add monsters to the extra deck as long as they're high level, because Roach can negate the summons of those cards. So yeah, they're gonna activate their skill effects, and Dragon Pit is absolutely fine, because Forbidden Lands doesn't actually do anything. It kind of just protects our own monsters, so it's fine if it gets popped. As long as our monsters are still on field, we're gonna be fine. And our opponent is probably gonna Pendulum Summon right now. Oh wait, he's gonna normal summon the Timebreaker. That is when we are going to prevent him from getting rid of our Roach. We're gonna send the Farfa, and that's probably the only brick in our deck, but it's really important because it allows us to actually use Beatrice as a disruption, like right now, so he couldn't use his effect. So now he's basically locked into only summoning low-level monsters in his Pendulum Summon, because otherwise I can destroy all of them with my Roach. So if he makes if he summons a Odd Eyes, I can pop it. Goodbye. Okay, now there's one thing he could do. Assuming that he doesn't, if this card doesn't really do anything. Okay, he's not making Digin, but even if he makes Digin to summon back the Pendulum Dragon and make Raging, we still have a way to get out of that. But I guess we don't have the opportunity to show that because our opponent is not making Damn Master. But really fine. This Book of Wind is not ideal. I guess we're gonna do what we're gonna do. I guess we're gonna attack the Wisdom Eye. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we have to do everything in our power to prevent our opponent from winning this turn. So if they couldn't win this turn, we were gonna win. So it is all depending on what our opponent is going to make. Yeah, but he has a Dragon Pit, so we're probably gonna lose this one, actually. We could book his monster, but he's just gonna flip it back up, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, he's just gonna flip it back up, right? He's even gonna Oath Dragon one of his monsters back. Yeah, that's the end. It's really close though. If he couldn't win that turn, we're winning because we have Draw Sense Monster Reborn.